excited. My name is Alex, and I am the coordinator of alumni events and volunteer management at Eastern. And then I'm also accompanied with Maddie Ridgway. She is the assistant director of alumni events as well. And then I will introduce our speaker for today's Beaker Brief. So please welcome Kimberly Ely. Ely, right?
Ely. It's a hard
Ely.
E. We don't know why.
It's okay. I have a ZY, so nobody ever gets mine.
Fair enough. Fair.
She is a seasoned educator and instructor, passionate about helping individuals cultivate peace, strength, and resilience through accessible wellness practices, including health, nutrition, yoga, and meditation. A graduate of Eastern University, Kimberly earned her Master's of Education in Multicultural Education, which is a foundation that shapes her inclusive, thoughtful approach to teaching and community care. Known for leading authenticity and attention to detail, she blends compassion with practical insight to create meaningful, supportive experiences for every student. Kim has taught throughout Chester County with organizations such as the YMCA, Blue Buddha Healing Arts, the Studio, and offers in-house wellness sessions for both individuals and large groups. And you can learn more about her on how to schedule her at fortheloveofpeace.com. So I will now hand it over to Kim.
Hello, thank you. I just love all things peaceful. I've been practicing yoga for more than 25 years now, which sounds kind of crazy to me. I still feel like a 14-year-old girl sometimes, but yoga and meditation have been a part of my life for a long time. And now I'm able to share more openly and freely about how these practices can really help you. So thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. I'm open to lots of questions at the end. I'm going to give you a brief overview of kind of what is meditation, and then we will practice a little meditation, and then we'll have time to journal. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, or maybe even just your phone and you want to type something out at the end, we'll have time for that. So thank you, and let's get started. My first question for everybody is just, what is meditation? So if you're able to use your chat and you want to use your voice, that's awesome. If you want to type something into a chat box, what are some of the things that come to mind when you hear the word meditation? I'd love to know your thoughts. Ladies, you can chime in. What are like some of the preconceived notions or some of the words that pop into your mind when you hear meditation?
We had someone write peace.
Okay, super.
I think of like quietness,
Okay, great.
silence.
Peace. Silence, interesting. I'm going to jot these down for myself. So something that I often get from a lot of people when they're first asking me about meditation is they'll say, I can't just sit in the chair and do nothing. Like that sounds really overwhelming and really difficult. And I like to say to people that meditation is actually a lot more than just that. And we'll learn a little bit more as we go through the rest of the chat. So I'll offer to you, instead of just meditation, the word mindfulness. Mindfulness is just what it sounds like. It's taking time to rest inside the body and become more mindfully aware of the things that are around you. How does that happen? That can happen through breathing or breath work, as we'll sometimes call it, which is intentional inhaling and exhaling in specific ways, in varied ways that can allow you to get into that meditative state. It's building awareness and focused attention. So it's about having a practice in place for yourself so that you can start to notice things in a brand new way, or in a different, more productive or positive way. And then it's learning how to focus your attention on the things that are meaningful and important to you. Mindfulness or meditation, again, we'll kind of use those words interchangeably, is also about decluttering the mind. So a lot of us in yoga will sometimes talk about the monkey mind. The monkey mind is all of the thoughts that come in and out of our head all the time. I have to get here. I have to make sure I go there. I have this thing I have to take care of with a friend later. I have to pick up this, this task. I have to make sure I get my groceries. All of these things are kind of jumbling inside of our head, all of these thoughts all the time. And that's what your brain is designed to do. You're supposed to have a lot of thoughts all the time. But the monkey mind is actually the idea that all of that jumping around can be settled down so that you can think about one thought at a time and make it a thought that's important and meaningful to you. Mindfulness is also really helpful in the way of regulating your emotions. It helps you to start to understand as you're feeling a feeling, why you're feeling it, and then address what action you can take that is productive and positive and serves you best. So it's not eliminating your feelings, but it's learning to regulate them and use them in a productive, positive way. Okay, so why do we meditate? I just gave us a list of some things. I'll say why I meditate. I definitely tend to be a person with that monkey mind. I have a lot of big feelings. I get really excited and then I can get really, really frustrated and stressed. At least that's a person that I used to be a couple of years ago. It was really simple for me to get stressed out very fast and feel uncomfortable in my skin and not really know the best way to handle a situation and move forward. Meditation became a tool for me to help re-regulate my nervous system. Every time something happened that was scary or different or exciting or crazy, it was a tool that could help me get back to my centered self and make clear-minded decisions. So the health benefits of meditation or mindfulness, like I said, we'll interchange that word, is ultimately that it helps us learn how to shift from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. You have a nervous system that's working in a specific way because we're meant to respond and react to our environment, right? There's stimuli. Sometimes there's a bear. And when you see the bear, you need to know to run away from the bear or do the things that you're supposed to do in that case. Maybe running isn't always the best solution. But what happens in the body is that your cortisol levels spike up, your eyeballs dilate, your muscles tense, and you get ready to act. Well, we're living in a society now where things are so stressful all the time. We're constantly being pulled in so many different directions that we are spiking up those cortisol levels. We're feeling stressed for little tiny things that happen because our bodies don't have as many of those scary bear situations. So kind of everything in the environment starts to trigger us and get us stimulated. So yoga, meditation, this mindfulness helps us to reduce the cortisol level, shift from the sympathetic into the parasympathetic nervous system, reduce your blood pressure, start to breathe and re-regulate, let you know that you're safe. And ultimately, it helps to drive down that chronic stress because we've come to recognize stress as like a very regular everyday thing. I have friends who I'll talk with and I'll say, "How are you?" And they're like, "I'm hanging on by a thread. Oh, I'm just hanging in there. I'm trying my best." And they're kind of living in that constant state of stress. Well, constant stress is going to lead to inflammation. It's going to lead to poor gut health. It's going to lead to weight gain. It's going to lead to sleep issues, heart disease, all different kinds of things. So if you retrain the mind so that you can consistently return to that place of peace whenever you need to, you know that you are in control of your mind and your nervous system. You can start to think more clearly and reduce all of those chronic stress symptoms. Okay, so what are different types of meditation? I'm going to show you one type of meditation tonight, but there's lots of different kinds. A lot of yogis really love breath-focused meditation. That's sort of the simplest kind of meditation because all you have to do is sit in a chair or lie down and just focus on breathing. The inhaling and the exhaling. It sounds simple, but if I asked you to sit in a chair and just breathe in and out for 10 or 15 minutes, the mind might start to wander. So it is a practice that's tricky, but that's someplace where we can start. A body scan meditation is really awesome because it allows you to think about each of the different parts of the body and slowly work yourself from the crown of the head down to the tips of your toes and kind of check in with how your body is feeling. And guided meditation is what we'll practice tonight. It's when someone else leads you. A lot of times you can pull up an audio clip, you can pull up a YouTube video, you can do all sorts of things so that you can listen to someone else walk you through the process. There are 5-minute videos, there are 10-minute videos, there's all sorts of wonderful things. A sound meditation is when you're using different tones and vibrations and sound to help you come into a meditative state. That can be achieved through bowls, like singing bowls, Tibetan bowls. Sometimes they're made of metal, sometimes they're made of crystal, chimes, gongs, hand pans. They're different things that don't necessarily make a specific like a song, but they create tones and vibrations that then help to align the energy centers of the body, which we sometimes call chakras. That's a whole other world that we could talk about in another talk. A walking meditation is when you take an intentional walk and do nothing but walk, maybe in nature, maybe outside somewhere. And then a yoga meditation is a moving meditation. Yoga in its original conception is meant to teach you how to move in space while breathing so that you start to clear the mind and think about nothing but the movement on hand. So what I like to advise folks to do as you're preparing to engage in the meditative process or in mindfulness is to set the stage. This is simple and it looks exactly how you want it to look. Setting the stage for meditation is like a fun party if you're a person who loves to prepare a space. You want to find a way that you can make yourself the most comfortable possible. And this can take 10 minutes. This can take an hour. It can take whatever you want it to, but preparing your space is a really significant piece of the meditation process. To get comfortable, you consider the type of chair that you have available to you. Maybe it's a recliner. They sell meditation chairs. They sell all sorts of things, but you really don't need anything but a mat or the floor to sit on if that feels good. You want to think about a nice long spine. You want to think about where you're placing your body so that you just feel really good. You can use pillows and blankets. You can get comfortable and cozy. You can use yoga blocks and bolsters so that you can put support under certain muscles and certain areas that maybe you hold a little extra tension. And all of that is something that we could learn at another point in time. Some folks like to have a certain smell whenever they meditate. Incense, candles, maybe just cutting open an orange and having that wonderful citrus smell in the space will start to create a repetition and a routine in your brain that as soon as you smell that wonderful thing, you take that deep breath and you know that your body is safe and you can make time to just exist in that meditative space. Sometimes folks like certain sounds, certain music. You can always play music when you're meditating if you don't want to use some of those tonal instruments that I mentioned before, the bowls, the hand pans, the chimes, things like that. And then the sights that are in your space are important too. I like to have a lot of plants and flowers in my space. I like to have something that if my mind starts to wander somewhere, I can always bring my gaze back to something. So I have a beautiful mandala that's featured here. Folks have been using these for a long, long time. You can always have something artistic and beautiful and colorful and vibrant so that if you start to get distracted during your meditation, you can refocus on something. Bouquets of flowers, something that I use often in my space. But you can really use anything that makes you happy and feel good. So we're going to practice a guided meditation now. It's something that I call your favorite place. Your favorite place means that that's just the theme for the meditation. So I'm going to ask you to get comfortable in your seat. Maybe you want to lie down and that would be okay too. For me, I'm just going to sit in my chair. I'm going to create a little bit of space between my legs. I'm going to make sure both of my feet are planted firmly on the floor. I'm going to allow my back to really rest into the chair, but feel long in the spine. So envision that someone, if there was a string coming out the top of your head, just pulled you up to really straighten and lengthen the back. And then as you exhale, you just kind of settle into that chair and feel comfortable. I like to place my hands on top of my thighs, but I like to kind of float them there so that I feel no tension. I also envision dropping my shoulders down a little bit, and I envision dropping the jaw. So there's a vagal nerve that as soon as you release your jaw, if you let it drop a little bit deeper, a little lower, it tends to relax you just a little bit. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open, totally up to you. And just remember that there is absolutely no wrong way to do any of this. Everything I'm offering you is a suggestion. So we're going to take a really nice deep inhale through the nose, and I want you to visualize the breath coming in. Fill up the chest and exhale. Again, really slowly pull the air in through the nose and out through the nose. On your next breath, we're going to pull a little bit longer and deeper. So as you inhale, start to envision that breath filling the lungs and then coming all the way down toward the navel, toward the belly. And then exhale, really, really slow. Again, inhaling, nose, chest, belly. Exhale, it comes up through the chest and out through the nose. Start to breathe at a normal pace now. But listen to that rhythm. You can create that sound kind of at the top of your throat so that you can hear your breath resonating inside. On your next inhale, I want you to place yourself someplace that feels wonderful to you. Maybe it's a location, place in nature. Maybe it's someone's house, someplace really special to you, your favorite place. Take another breath and start to feel yourself in this space. Look around and see if you can't find 3 things in this space. Maybe you discover something you forgot was here. Maybe you breathe in the joyful familiarity of something you love to see in this space. On your next breath, I want you to find something that you smell here. Something fills you up, and it is so joyful and lovely. It fills your entire chest with joy. On your next inhale, I want you to find something that you can touch here. Maybe you pick something up from the ground. Maybe you see something. Or maybe you want to hold or embrace someone in this space. Next, I want you to think about something you might want to say in this space and hold those words in your mind. Maybe it's just gratitude, or maybe you want to share something with someone you love. On your next inhale, look around the space again and see if there's something else that you notice. Something that completely delights you, that you're just thrilled to find. Your heart swells just a little bit, and you're filled with joy. I'll invite you to walk through the space now. Is there another area here that you want to explore? Maybe there's another thing to discover or another person who's here. Feel everything in your body soften and relax at the thought of finding this incredible space to share in this moment. Know that you are here because you belong here. And it's exactly as you left it. Comforts you and fills you with feelings of love and compassion and joy. Return to your breath. On your next inhale, consider if there's a resonating color here for you. Does something flood your senses? Hold on to that color for just a moment and then exhale it out. Inhale deeply, that 3-part breath through the nose, chest, belly, and exhale. One more time, inhale. Nose, chest, belly, and exhale. Consider now if you hear anything off in the distance. Is it the sounds of nature, or a song, or the laughter of someone you care about? Hold that sound in your mind's eye. Let the sound come in through your third eye, that space between the eyebrows, and let it fill you up. On your next breath, start to come back from this space. Start to feel your chair beneath you. Maybe wiggle your fingers or your toes. And start to return your consciousness to this room, to this area, to this moment. Maybe you open your eyes slowly. Maybe you need a little neck roll or a little movement back in the body. And consider how you feel in this moment. Change your breath. And just notice. Just build awareness. So if you have something to write with, I have several different things that you can write about. Maybe something has rushed into your mind right away and you want to capture that. Go for it. If you feel like maybe you need a prompt and a little help on what to write about, you can consider any of these. What did you notice in your body? Something tight, something loosen or change? Was something uncomfortable or hard? And did it release with a little time? Was it very hard to go to your favorite place? Were there things kind of floating around in your head as you were trying to get there? How do you feel now? Maybe you were wishing to be in this place even longer. Maybe you felt like you never got there. Whatever the case, you can jot down some notes about it. You can also consider if any of these tools, any of these ideas were exciting to you. A walking meditation, maybe a yoga, moving meditation. Is there something you want to learn more about that you never considered before that maybe you can start to explore? What part of this practice are you curious about or hoping to learn from? So I'll give you a minute to just take some notes and see what pops into your head. So is there anything that anyone would be willing to share with us, either in the chat or maybe verbally? Any thoughts, anything that came up for you? Ladies?
I know for me, sometimes when I start writing, it turns into a to-do list.
Oh, when you
That's
were
my like,
now?
yeah.
Oh,
So like I
time.
remembered that I had to do the laundry. I started it in the wash. I had to move it over. And so that thought popped in and I was like, don't forget to do that. And then I remembered I left a dish in the sink. So I had to remember to move that.
Mm, interesting.
I'm
Anything pop?
also a doodler. I also doodle on it
Oh,
too.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that can be a meditative practice for you if you do it mindfully. And if you
Mhm.
decide, I'm going to do nothing but doodle for 5 minutes straight and just let my mind ease into that peaceful space of being creative,
Mhm.
because that's definitely mindful and meditative.
It looks like someone else said, I enjoyed lingering in a joyful space.
Good. Lingering in joy. Oh, how beautiful is that? That's really wonderful. I think it's incredible to learn from this type of practice that there are wonderful places that we can go, and it's all in here. It's all a part of the beautiful experiences and memories that we have, and we can weave them together inside of our consciousness. And then what starts to happen is what you think about, what you spend the most time thinking about, becomes your next reality. So if you focus and concentrate on these beautiful, joyful thoughts, you become more beautiful and joyful because you're thinking wonderful things. And then you start to bring all of that into your life more frequently. It we we lead toward our thoughts. So we have to center the thoughts and choose them, and then the body follows. And we sort of stumble into these wonderful experiences more frequently from a practice like this. Any other thoughts? Any other?
I know for me, uh my way of journaling is just to get it all, like I just have to get everything out and then I can allow myself to like linger in it and wander, meander in it. So doing it in my brain feels difficult, but
Mm-hmm.
being led through it feels less difficult.
So where
Uh,
did you go? Did you go someplace?
I did, yeah. I went to the beach, which is where I normally go in my brain. That's like my first, it's the first place that I when someone says think of a place, it's the first
Okay.
one. It's like and it's the beach that I typically go to with just myself or my dog. So like it feel like it's not just the beach, it's like that specific beach. I know what's behind me, I know what's in front of me. Um like the landscape is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amazing. So I did this meditation a few weeks ago, and I was in a beautiful forest, and my grandmother showed up. Like out of nowhere, there she was. It was like, and what do you see? And I was like, oh, hello. And when I came out of meditation, I felt like it had really happened. I felt all of the beautiful feelings associated with seeing her and being with her. And she's been gone like 11 years, almost 12 years. And it was just the most beautiful, powerful experience. And it brought so much joy to my day to have this stress-free, gorgeous opportunity and time with her. Um, okay, thank you so much for sharing
That's
those
funny
things.
because when you said do you see anybody else in your space,
Whoa.
I also thought of my grandmother.
So did
And
I.
she has also been gone for a long time.
They
That's
were
great.
available. They
Our
were
grandmas
very
are ready to
free.
go.
They were around and they were like, sure, I'll come to your place. Like, I can't
Yeah.
wait to be there.
That's
So,
crazy.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Our life is what we think. It's our thoughts. Whatever you are thinking about is your reality. So if you saw grandma, I mean, I'm glad she wanted to check in. I had a great visit with mine. She was super. So this is an opening to meditation. This is kind of the beginner's letting you know what you can do. There are so many choices, there's so many ways. The idea, meditation has been described to me before as the moments when you turn everything off and you're kind of just focused on one thing. And in some cases, folks will think, like, when I'm in the zone, am I meditating? And it's like, well, it's a similar state from your brain frequency perspective. Like when you're in the zone, you're thinking of nothing but the task at hand and you're living in the present. So some people achieve that through like doing their favorite sport, or like when they're golfing, they're like, I'm in the zone and I'm connected to nature and I'm thinking about nothing but this moment and this second. A lot of people, I think, find it through journaling and writing. That is a way for them to only think about the task at hand. For some people, it can be painting. I think there are a lot of um, not hobby, like not just hobbies, but a lot of hobby-esque things that time sort of disappears and you're really zoned in, that allows you to kind of reconnect with your deepest self where nothing's wrong, nothing's bothering you, everything feels good. And it kind of just reminds you that probably nothing is wrong most of the other times too. We just kind of get a little hyped up about stuff. So I hope this was insightful and interesting. There are so many ways to meditate. There are a lot of guided meditations. I will definitely just say I'd love to take this time to reinforce that retraining yourself to react and behave through this practice is ultimately the goal. Like you sit in the chair for 5 minutes a day and do nothing, and it starts to help you understand and learn that I'm doing this because it's like your cortisol, right? Those levels, you can regulate them yourself. You can learn how to be calm. You can learn how to react to things from a more open-minded perspective when you're not freaked out and stressed, when you're operating from that parasympathetic nervous system. So if you have more questions for me or you want to find me in the future, you're very welcome to do so. You can email me. I have a website that you can reach out through that. And then my phone number is there. You can always reach out for, I do private sessions, I do group sessions, I host events in various spaces throughout Chester County, and I would love to help you love meditation, or at least incorporate it as one of the many amazing practices that can help you feel good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If anyone in our chat has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're watching.
I don't know if I'm seeing, oh, here we go, chat. I enjoy lingering in a joyful, okay, we got that.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Well, amazing. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for
Yeah,
participating.
thank you for coming. Go ahead, Maddie. Sorry.
No, I was gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, I think about the ways that I do this in my own work day, but I guess I'm wondering what would be the things that you would encourage people? Like, I know that sometimes these practices feel like they can take up more time or more energy during
Mhm.
this is something we do before work or after work or like,
So here's what I would say. If
yeah.
you're a beginner, I would say pick a time that's going to work for you. Don't wait to get triggered and get stressed. Like to build the practice, to start trying this out, tell yourself, I'm going to do this every day at the same time. Um, Atomic Habits by James Clear is like the greatest habit book, that's out there right now. He's a wonderfully well read and researched fellow, and he encourages habit stacking, which means you would take something that you're already doing every day and then add this into it. So, for example, most people are brushing their teeth every morning. I know I am. And I have a meditation app, or I love Deepak Chopra. I think he's phenomenal. He has a 21-day meditation challenge. I have guided meditations that I offer up for folks. And just give yourself 2 minutes. Just brush the teeth and then say, I'm going to sit in this chair. I'm going to set the timer on my phone for 2 minutes. You can give yourself 2 minutes. You can give yourself 5 minutes. And when you start to do it, what eventually starts to happen is it's really, really hard and annoying in the beginning. You're just like, this is stressful. Like, I don't have time to like carve this out right now. But if you tell yourself, like, this is important to me and I really want to figure this out, you'll do the 2 minutes and you'll be like, oh, that wasn't enough. And then you want the 5 minutes. And then you'll want 10 minutes. And then sometimes you'll kind of relapse and you'll have a day where you're like, oh my gosh, I was running around all day and like I didn't have time. But what happens to me sometimes is like I'll have my practice. And so I'll do my meditation in the morning. Morning usually works best for me because I can like, the kids are on the bus. These are my minutes. I can like sit in the chair. I set the timer on my phone. Like, okay, give myself these 5 minutes. But what also will happen now is that because I've trained my mind and I've trained my breath to enjoy that and love that feeling of feeling great, and if something's really stressful or I'm very tired or feeling like burnt out or something, I'll be like, Mommy's going to take 5 minutes. And I go and I sit in a chair and I set my timer and I do it for the 2 minutes or the 5 minutes. And I just absorb those minutes when I'm stressed. Because you can always spare a couple of minutes. Like everyone's like, oh, you should meditate for an hour. That would be amazing. But guess what? You have to practice. And so if you're learning how to play basketball, I wouldn't be like, hey, go sink for, 3-pointers right away. I'd be like, no, start with dribbling and just dribble a little bit every day and start to build a little bit of that practice. So that would be my like recommendation to get started. Don't make it a burden. Make it 2 minutes or make it 5 minutes and then just see where it goes. I love a music app like Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music, whatever, and find something that makes you feel peaceful. For some people, it's classical piano music. I love yoga music. There are lots of meditation like stations and playlists that you can pull. Sound bath is like a category of music that's like the bowls and the tones. That's like, that can be very peaceful and relaxing. Find the thing that just feels really nice and then have access to that so that when you snag your 5 minutes, you can always play that music. And then it becomes like muscle memory where you're always grabbing for like the same thing. For me, I love Deepak. Like Deepak Chopra is the coolest ever. And I can listen to that man's voice all day. I love the way he sounds and I love the things he says. He has a wonderful like 21-day meditation about abundance that I think is phenomenal. And it's, it's like 8 minutes, like 10 minutes. Like you can do that. And if you skip a day, all right, you skip a day, but you eventually come into like the pattern of it. That was a very long answer. I'm sorry. You can tell that I love meditation.
Oh, all good. All good. I appreciate
It's
it.
just made a really big difference, like in my life. And I think it's amazing. So
Thank you so much for sharing. Clearly a wealth of knowledge on all things, meditation and otherwise. So I want to give a special thank you, Kim, for your time tonight. And this will be available for those watching. This will be available on YouTube, and we will be posting about our next Beaker Briefs on our socials and on our website. So be looking out for those.